Welcome back. In this episode, we're going to answer what is the best lifetime investment. Now, we may talk about your health, your relationships, but most people are asking about money. So, in this episode, I'm going to give you a vision of the three key elements of a prudent investment. Help you overcome the obstacles that most people have where they don't understand money and the impact of things that can negatively impact the accumulation of that money in their investments and how they get duped, in my opinion. I want to transform your future to be able to harness the best investments, in my opinion, that will allow you to accumulate, access, and transfer your money on a tax-favored basis. So I'm Doug Andrew, and as a financial strategist for 45 years, the most important point I want you to remember from this episode is that any prudent investment must pass at least 4 tests: liquidity, safety, rate of return, and tax benefits. These are the key elements of a prudent investment. Now, I put them in that order for a specific purpose. I feel the number one key element of any prudent investment is liquidity. The ability to access your money when you need it with an electronic funds transfer or maybe a phone call. Number 2 would be safety. Safety of principal, not just safety of the institution where your money is, but you want to protect the principal that you set aside and not lose and be able to take advantage of upturns in the market. You want to have safety of your money. Number 3 would be able to earn predictable rates of return, not pie in the sky, get rich quick rates of return, but tax-free returns of 7, 8, 9, or 10%. That's incredible, because if you understand the negative impact of taxes, which we talk about in other episodes, you would have to earn 15% in a tax-deferred IRA or 401k to net you 10% after paying a third back in tax at the end of the day when you retire. I would just as soon earn a 10% rate of return tax-free than have to earn 15% to net 10%. Does that make sense? And so the key elements of a prudent investment are liquidity, safety, predictable rates of return, and I prefer tax-free more than just tax-deferred. So I'm going to disclose, in my opinion, the best investment choices to be able to pass that test with flying colors. In fact, I actually have a rating system in my books that we rank any investment, places where you put your money, based upon liquidity on a scale of 1 to 10, safety, rate of return, and tax benefits. Unfortunately, there are a lot of investments that people put money into in America in mutual funds, in the market, in IRAs or 401ks, or in the bank or annuities, where the score of those 4, a perfect score would be 40. I don't know of any investment that ranks a perfect score of 40, but most people have their money in places that only score 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. My favorite vehicle scores between 33 to 35. I know of no other investment vehicle that allows you to pass liquidity, safety, rate of return, and tax benefit tests with flying colors like what I affectionately call the laser fund. So let me explain it to you here. So in my opinion, the best lifetime investment should pass the liquidity, safety, rate of return, and tax benefit test with flying colors. How do you do that? Well, let me use a metaphor. Unfortunately, I think a lot of financial advisors, well-intending, try to charge up a battery, so to speak, so that when you retire, that battery won't go dead before you do. Okay? I would rather have a generator than a battery. What's the difference? See, a generator generates power, hopefully into perpetuity. It doesn't get shorted out. What is shorting out or causing most people's retirement batteries to go dead? 3 big dangers: taxes, inflation, and market volatility. So I think the best lifetime investment is one that passes liquidity, safety, rate of return tests, but also you don't have to worry about taxes because it's tax-free. You don't have to worry about the danger of inflation because this vehicle allows you to link your returns to the things that inflate, which I teach about in other episodes. But also, I'm immune from market volatility. When the market goes down, I don't lose. I can sleep at night when the wind blows, so to speak, because I'm not losing. And when the markets are up, I get to take advantage of that. And so my favorite vehicle, the best lifetime investment that I have found, is to be able to put my money into what I call the Laser Fund. The Laser Fund actually is an acronym that stands for Liquidity, Safety, Rate of Return. It spells LASER. LASER is actually liquid assets safely earning returns. So I'm going to show you how you can learn more about how to harness those advantages and be able to take advantage of the best lifetime investment that I've ever seen that has empowered people to be able to not outlive their money. They look back and say, oh my heavens, that is the best decision we ever made. And this is what gave us dignity to not outlive our money. So throughout my career, I've seen countless people who have converted to the best strategy to be able to accumulate, access, and transfer their money tax-free. Let me share one story with you. There was this awesome couple. They were very successful, and they had accumulated a sizable amount of money in tax-deferred IRAs or 401ks. They were sort of in this tax trap. It took 5 years. You can't do this overnight, but we established the favorite vehicle for them, what I call the Laser Fund, and we actually set up 4 accounts for them. Now, it took 5 years to strategically get their money out of inferior places in tax-deferred IRAs or 401ks in the market because they want to eliminate those dangers of taxes, inflation, and market volatility. But they wanted to maintain liquidity, safety, earn predictable rates of return, and they wanted to convert at least 60% of their income during retirement to tax-free income that wouldn't show up on their tax return. I love this story because even though in 5 years they were in the highest tax bracket, which they were going to be in the rest of their life if they didn't do something, we moved them in 5 short years from the highest tax bracket to a 0% tax bracket. Now they enjoy about $800,000 a year of tax-free income. And they say, wow, this is awesome. That was worth the pain of going through the conversion process. So the key takeaways here are to be able to choose investment vehicles that pass liquidity, safety, rate of return, and tax benefit tests. Those are the key elements of a prudent investment. You also want to eliminate the dangers of taxes, inflation, and market volatility, and be able to rest assured that you can go do the things that you want and love doing in retirement instead of worrying about money. And lastly, choose a strategy that will generate the most net spendable income at the time in life you're going to need the money the most, instead of a battery approach to retirement. And so if you would like to be empowered on how to convert to tax-free investment options, please watch the episode here so that you can gain further insights into how to convert to tax-free income during those golden years for you.